Walking beside a stranger at the same speed is one of the few situations where doing absolutely nothing can become socially suspicious. You are both moving normally. Neither person has done anything wrong. You simply happen to be traveling in the same direction at approximately the same pace. For the first 3 seconds, this is not a problem. Then, you notice, their footsteps are landing almost exactly when yours do. You speed up slightly. They speed up slightly. Now, it is a situation. The problem is not proximity by itself. People walk near other people constantly. The problem is sustained parallel movement with no relationship to justify it. If someone is 10 feet ahead of you, they are another pedestrian. 10 feet behind you, also fine. But 6 feet to your left, matching your speed perfectly for 30 consecutive seconds? The human brain begins opening a file. Who is this person? Why are we moving together? Did we agree to this? You did not. And yet the sidewalk has assigned you a temporary companion. The first instinct is to break formation. You increase your pace by perhaps 4%. Not enough to look dramatic. Just enough to create daylight. But the stranger was already planning the same thing. They speed up too. Now, both of you are walking faster for no reason. A peaceful trip to the parking lot has become a low-level speed trial between two people who refuse to acknowledge that the trial exists. You cannot suddenly sprint. Sprinting would answer too many questions. So you try the opposite approach. You slow down. This must be done carefully because an abrupt reduction in speed communicates either mechanical failure or an attempt to let the other person pass. Which, to be fair, is exactly what you are doing. But they also slow down. Perhaps they are checking their phone. Perhaps they sense the same problem and are trying to solve it from the opposite direction. Either way, the formation survives. This is where every normal movement becomes strategic. You adjust your bag, you glance across the street, you check your phone. Are you pretending to be busy until they leave? Yes. But now, they check their phone too. The two of you are no longer walking. You are conducting parallel negotiations through body language. Then there is the overtaking problem. To pass someone, you need enough speed to complete the maneuver decisively. A weak overtake is worse than no overtake at all. You accelerate, you move half a step ahead, then your speed drops naturally. Now, the stranger is beside you again. You attempted to pass them and failed. This creates history. The interaction has a previous chapter. The next overtake cannot look accidental. You need commitment. Unfortunately, commitment requires walking much faster than your destination justifies. You are 30 yards from the coffee shop moving like boarding closes in 6 minutes. And the stranger knows. They may not know where you are going, but they know you needed separation. This is why the cleanest solution is environmental intervention. A doorway, a crosswalk, a bench, a trash can. Anything that gives one person a legitimate reason to alter course. You begin hoping the stranger turns somewhere. Any turn. You do not care where. You just need the universe to separate the pair. But sometimes the route keeps agreeing. You cross the same street, take the same corner, enter the same parking lot. At this point, coincidence begins to feel accusatory. You start mentally defending yourself. I was already going this way. That sentence is never spoken, but it becomes emotionally important. The worst version occurs when one person is slightly behind the other, close enough that the person in front can hear the footsteps, far enough that turning around would feel strange. The person in front speeds up. The person behind was already walking quickly, so they speed up too. Now, the person in front speeds up again. This is how two innocent pedestrians accidentally create a chase scene. No one is chasing anyone, but the soundtrack has changed. The person behind now faces a moral problem. Slow down and accept being delayed, cross the street even though your destination is not there, or perform the most aggressive option available. Pass them. Passing ends the suspicion but briefly requires getting closer. So, the solution to appearing like you are following someone is to approach them faster. Excellent system. There is technically another option. Acknowledge the situation. A small laugh. Some harmless comment that you apparently have the same route. This would clarify everything. It would also mean speaking to a stranger for no reason. So obviously no one does this. Instead, both people continue silently adjusting speed in increments too small to admit. The strange thing is that none of this matters once the spacing changes. The stranger gets 15 feet ahead. Instantly normal. You fall 15 feet behind. Also normal. Nothing about either person changed. Only the geometry did. Apparently, human beings can tolerate identical destination, identical direction, and identical speed, just not in the same row. A reasonable walking policy would be simple. If you accidentally match pace with a stranger, someone should create separation. Speed up enough to pass. Slow down enough to fall behind. Take a natural opportunity to change position. And once the formation breaks, do not recreate it. If you pass someone, remain past. You have assumed responsibility for the new pace. The charge: walking beside a stranger at exactly the same speed, long enough for both people to become aware of it. The defense: we are literally just walking. The verdict: technically harmless, socially unsettling. Two people, one sidewalk, same destination, and somehow the most important task becomes proving you are not together.